Chapter 31. The sixth time I opened my eyes, yes, I'd been counting, I was greeted by a dim light filtering through the small, high windows. Finally, day. Grumpily, I crawled out of bed. I wasn't really ready to get up. Without my medication, I knew I wouldn't be able to sleep anymore, if what I'd gotten had been considered sleep in the first place. And I didn't want to just lie in bed with my thoughts continuing to run themselves in circles. Tirafu was setting food and drink on the table for me when I climbed down the stairs. "What? How? Hi," I babbled, my tired brain trying to catch up with the rest of me. Abashedly, I thought of the food I'd taken upstairs with me the evening before and had forgotten to eat during all of my mental gymnastics. "Good morning, Zoe. Sakune Selena told me you would be up about now, so I thought to have some food for you to eat." "Of course she did," I grumbled unhappily. All night, my mind had been a convoluted mess of thoughts and theories and feelings that accumulated in my hatred of anyone who could see the future on command and manipulate situations to be the way they wanted. I thanked every god and goddess, ancient and modern, that humans didn't have that ability in the outside world. "You did not sleep good?" Tirafu asked, looking at my face. I attempted not to glare at him, as he had done nothing to receive my ire. I just shook my head instead and plopped down on the chair in front of the food. "Was the bed not comfortable?" "The bed was fine," I said between bites. "I just don't sleep well, or really much at all, without my meds." "Your what?" I realized I'd used the shortened English word for medication instead of the Portuguese one. I tried again. "Ah, medicinal. I have heard outsiders use them much for many ailments." I nodded. "I use it to stay asleep." Tirafu gave me a knowing look. "We also have people who cannot sleep through the night. There is a plant we can mix in water to drink for help with sleeping. If you stay, I can get you some for tonight." "That would be great. Thank you." He smiled. "It is no problem. When you are done eating, Sakune Selena would like to speak with you again when you are ready. But you may come and go wherever you wish. You are no prisoner here." He nodded to me once and left. I took my time eating breakfast. I was in no hurry to see their Sakune again, but I also had no idea what else I could do in the village. I stopped by the bathroom after my meal, once again impressed that a small tribe of people living in the middle of the jungle had luxuries such as running water. I eyed the shower, considering whether I could use it, and ran the faucet to see if they had hot water here as well. It took a moment, but the flowing water warmed, and I grinned. After tramping through the forest in the rain, a hot shower sounded divine. I made sure there were towels in the cabinet before luxuriating in the shower until the water ran cold. It lasted maybe 10 minutes, but that was longer than I had expected when I'd gotten up that morning. My bathing done, I walked in the opposite direction of the Sakune's home. Make her wait. She'd know I wasn't going to show up right away anyway. I followed the perimeter of the village, passing just in front of every outermost house I could see. I didn't know how big the village was, but I was about to find out, if only to make it clear that I wasn't going to be controlled by anyone else. I knew I was being irrational, but I'd been knocked out, dropped in the middle of a hostile jungle, left to wander without food or water for 24 hours, and taken to a village where someone told me a story that made me question my entire existence. I had essentially not slept in 2 days, and I don't know if you'd call a gas-induced knockout sleep the night before that. Or whatever had happened on the boat. Gas was just my best guess given all the windows were closed. A large part of me just wanted things to be normal again. School-packed, friend-gossiping, computer-binging normal. Instead, all I could do was walk around a strange village with strange people that may or may not be human, but were definitely not normal, and hope that the fresh air, which I'd had more than enough of lately, would help uncloud my mind enough so that I could speak with the one person who could possibly give me answers without wanting to rip her head off her shoulders. I was more than a little surprised when, on my walk, I came upon an open field. Not just clear of underbrush, but it was also open to the sky above. A handful of adults watched several small groups of children play ball or chase each other around or play on. Was that an actual jungle gym? How the hell did they get one of those out here? I looked up again, the sky vibrant blue. Why can't we see this in photographs? I thought idly. But then, this was just a small opening in the foliage on a small island in the middle of an enormous rainforest. It was doubtful it looked like anything more than a glitch in an image. And it wasn't like there were satellites trained on the Amazon looking for indications of civilization. Were there? After all, we were practically at war with them. Maybe some world governments did have spy satellites on the Amazon and Indonesia now. Eventually, I made it all the way around the village and ended up in front of the Sakuni's hut. I took a deep, steadying breath and called into the doorway. Hello? Rahidu poked his head through the door leading to the back room.
Hello, Zoe. Come, Sakune Selena is waiting.
Zoe, Selena greeted me as I entered her room. It is good you chose to come back. Not like I had much of a choice. I have a lot of questions, I said slowly, taking the same seat I had the day before. She nodded. Ask. Why did you tell me the story about the Pisani? It was the question that had plagued me the most out of the entire situation. You know that answer. No, I don't. I have no clue why you would tell a total stranger who showed up out of nowhere like an hour before a story about people who had been magically sent to the future. I knew you would know it. I scowled. How? How did you know I would recognize the story? Ah, she said in her frustratingly enigmatic way. I saw that if you came and I told you, you might do one thing, and if I didn't, you would do another. Oh my God. Really? That's what you're going to tell me? I knew I was being unreasonably angry, but I'd been stewing over the situation all night. Are you picking your favorite future out of all the ones you see, trying to manipulate me? Sakune Selena was silent for a long time as she regarded me calmly. Finally, she answered. I can see all futures, but only all futures that I will be part of. You choose your own future. I told you the story because it is important to my people. If you do anything or ignore it, that is your choice. The story is important to your people, or is it important that you tell me? Both. I inhaled deeply, held it to the count of 3, and slowly exhaled. Why? If you choose to do the thing, it will affect all the Yedramor. The rational part still left in my brain noted that she referred to all Yedramor, not just the Amazon people or her tribe. I wasn't sure if I should feel worried, pressured, or honored. I chose frustrated. What thing? Why do you keep calling it a thing? I will tell you if you choose to do it. You are not ready to choose yet. Ask your questions. I gritted my teeth and closed my eyes, taking another deep breath. Only the fact that she was remaining so calm kept me from completely losing my cool. Do you know why I would have a dream about your legend before I ever heard it? I do not. Does it mean... I hesitated, knowing I was about to sound pretentious, but I had to have an answer. Does it mean that I might be the princess? I recognized that the word they used, Pisani, didn't have a gender attached, but it had felt like me in the dream. So I used the word in hopes it would unbalance the Sakuni enough to give me a straight answer. The Sakuni stared into the distance. If you do the thing, you will find out. Not very helpful, I grumbled. At least she hadn't laughed at me, but it didn't ease my anxiety about the situation either. There was a long silence as I attempted to calm down and sort what little new information I got into some kind of logical order.
Sakune Selena,
Rahidu addressed the seer quietly.
Kisiku Rahidu. Will you tell Zoe about the hunter?
Probably, she murmured. It will depend on what she decides. I looked between the Sakuni and her apprentice. Is there something else I need to do before you can tell me? Selena looked back to me. You have more questions? I nodded slowly. If I want to go home instead of doing whatever thing you keep talking about, how do I get there?
The Yedramor have something like your transports, she told me. We can help you get to a human city.
Just like that. You don't need to wipe my mind or anything first? I asked the question half in jest. Usually, memory erasing was limited to the realm of fantasy, but right then, I was willing to believe anything was possible.
Why would we do that?
To, keep yourself secret? I said lamely.
The world knows of the Yedramor now. You do not know where we are in Esonu, so you cannot tell anyone how to get here. We are safe. And if you remember us, you can tell them how we hosted you, so maybe they will not be so afraid of us.
I nodded. That actually made perfect sense. If I choose to stay, how long will the thing take? The Sakuni took on a faraway look again.
You will travel many days in search of what you seek.
Many days, like 3 or 30.
It will depend on many things. Sometimes it will take 2 hands of days. Sometimes it will take a moon cycle or more.
It will be faster if... Rahidu interjected, but his thought was cut off when Selena's head snapped in his direction.
Rahidu, hosi leri sega maki miko lerini.
The boy hung his head.
Apen me.
Selena looked back to me.
It will usually be less than 6 hands of days,
she said, finishing her earlier thought. 30 days. Is there a way I can send a message to people letting them know I'm okay?
Who would you tell?
The school, I said immediately, and my friend in the States.
And what would you tell them?
That I'm, I hesitated on that answer. What could I tell them?
That you are in a Yedramor village.
Selena's words were serious, but her eyes twinkled.
And you are going to search for an ancient legend. I do not think that is wise.
But they... A knot of anxiety formed in my stomach. The Sakuni stared into the distance for a moment.
No, you are not going to tell the people that you are here.
Why not? I asked, and suddenly my anxiety turned into anger again. Why can't I at least just let people know I'm still alive? Yesterday you said I could.
I said there is a way, not that you will.
But why not? I growled. I had just begun to like the lady again when she had to go and pull this shit.
If the humans know you are alive, they will likely search for you. In many futures where they find this village, there will be war that will kill us. Because we are on the large river, we will be found many times. I do not want that to happen.
Her reasoning cut through the frustration. If the school thought the Yedramora had kidnapped me, they might just come searching, guns blazing. And I couldn't tell them otherwise, since I had no idea myself what had happened. I thought frantically. I wasn't too worried about my new friends at school, or even the school itself, as much as I was worried about Aaron. If he found out I had disappeared... Desperation overcame the anger. Just one message? It's for a friend, in another country even. He won't tell anyone I'm missing. If I stay, I need to let him know I won't be able to talk to him for several weeks. I won't tell him what's really happening, but if he thinks something bad happened to me, I don't know what he'll do. It was only after I finished pleading that I realized I had also started crying. I quickly wiped my eyes and looked at Selena. She was gazing into the distance again. It lasted longer than any time I'd seen her contemplate the future before. Finally, her gaze focused on me again.
Yes, if you stay, you will tell your friend you will not talk to him again for some time.
Thank you, I said, indescribably grateful.
Do you have more questions?
I considered. Okay, yes. If by some crazy chance I am your reincarnated princess, what would that mean for me? What would I have to do? Would I have to stay here?
Sakune Selena smiled. That is all your choice. If you do the thing in return and find out that is the truth of who you are, We will talk about it again.
I wanted to hit my head against a wall, or a tree, or maybe hit Selena's head against a tree. Maybe she'd actually start answering my questions if I did. Then I realized she did tell me something after all. The thing you want me to do will tell me whether or not I am the princess? Selena nodded and Rahidu grinned. But you will not go alone, the boy said. There is another who will guide you. The seer slowly looked over to Rahidu, who hung his head again in shame, then back to me. Yes, there is someone who will also do the thing with you. They, too, are connected to the legend in some way. The sorceress, I whispered. Perhaps, or perhaps not. We do not know. That is why you must go together. Or I can just turn around and walk away from everything. Sakune Selena inclined her head. It is your decision. And nothing bad will happen if I do? Nothing bad will occur directly because of your decision not to do the thing, Selena affirmed. But if I am the princess and I never find out, you will never know either. It was getting easier than I thought it should be to talk about myself as reincarnated royalty from a secretive race of people. Perhaps, or perhaps your soul will be reincarnated again one day in another body that will find its way here again, and that person will do the thing. Is that something you see? Was I destined to return to this place, life after life? Selena smiled. No, she said simply. Do I have to decide right now? No, she repeated. I didn't have any more questions that I could think of, but I also didn't get up to leave. I knew I should take time to think about what I'd been told, but I already knew what I'd decide. If I was able to make sure Aaron wouldn't go off the deep end thinking I died or something, school didn't seem important compared to finding out if I was part of some ancient legend. And if you're not, my thoughts intruded on my happy little fantasy. You'll have wasted weeks chasing some fiction that a remote Yedramora village told you. Didn't you just say you wanted to go back to a normal life? Do you have any other explanations for the dreams? I countered myself. What if I am a reincarnated princess? What if I was meant to be here? Also, the things I could learn about the Yedramora by staying here. It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. There was no response, and I considered the argument won. I want to do your thing, I told the Sakuni. I want to find out how I'm connected to your legend. Selena nodded once. Very well. I will tell Tirafu to let you send a message to your friend. But first, there is another story I must tell you. Rahidu lifted his head and grinned, sitting forward. Selena noticed and smiled wryly. If you are so eager to hear it, Siku, you can tell the story. His face dropped. I do not know it in Poturis yet. Selena's eyes smiled, even if her lips did not. Then you must pay closer attention this time. Rahidu nodded excitedly, and I wondered just what story I was about to hear that would have the boy so excited.